These products will destroy your Etsy shop. Today, I'm going to be talking about copyright and trademark infringements and how you might accidentally be at risk for your shop getting shut down. And I'm also going to unpack some real keys to avoiding issues in this area. And then I'll share what to do if you get a false infringement report filed against your shop, because that happened to me and I'm going to teach you how to handle it. Taylor Swift, Harry Potter, Disney. It can be so tempting to sell these things because of how many other shops are doing it and making a lot of money. But I want to show you exactly what the risk looks like and what that could mean for your shop if you try to cross over that line. So let's take a look. Taylor Swift. Thousands of results here with literal photos of Taylor Swift with her picture, with her name slapped all over these things. It could be tempting to get into this name. How about Harry Potter? A lot of serious issues happening with Harry Potter. Just because it's happening though doesn't mean that it's okay. What is sometimes maybe the most talked about, Disney. You guys, there are copyright and trademark violations all over this page. They're bestsellers, they're popular now. They're getting a ton of attention. If Disney came to Etsy and typed in Disney, these would be the things that show up. Is that a problem? You might be tempted to think, no, it's not, because these shops are doing it. Why would I get in trouble if these bestsellers aren't getting in trouble? But you see, it's just a matter of time. I have found that a lot of people will start their shops. They will see success quickly because they're using items that are trademarked, and then they become very fearful of removing those items from their shop, because if 95% of their orders are coming from these, 3 illegal listings, then they feel like I have no other option, no other way to be successful on Etsy. How do you know if you might accidentally be breaking the law, right? What we're gonna do is go to USPTO, and you're simply gonna go to trademarks, click find it fast, trademark search. So let's type in Starbucks. And you can see all of the protected IP, the logo, the word, and you can click in and you can see who owns it. You can see kind of what character claims there might be. You can see the prosecution history, which is very interesting. You can see the attorney on file here for this. And you can also see the renewal dates, which is kind of interesting. Maybe you're concerned about the whole in my era thing. So what if we type in my era? Okay, my era, hashtag this is my era. Okay, that one has been dead or abandoned. Interesting. So you can see like what products they are protected on. Someone trademarked in my teacher era, in my auntie era. So you can see a lot of these are probably Etsy sellers. Always important to look that up, and that way you'll stay protected. But sometimes when you look things up, there is some gray area. A question that I would ask myself if I were you is, am I financially benefiting from associating with this brand? Then it's probably an issue. For example, if you are putting the name of an artist like Taylor Swift on your t-shirt, then you are financially benefiting from her name and her brand. Another thing is if you put a brand name like Gucci or Tiffany into your listing, and if it's not a true vintage item from that brand, then you are potentially financially benefiting from that association. And now a lot of this, like I said, is up to interpretation, and it's not always a black and white issue. For example, there's a lot of mock-ups out there that include someone holding a Starbucks cup, and sometimes the logo of Starbucks is peeking out. What really this comes down to is the person who owns that IP, which is intellectual property, they have to feel that you're violating their intellectual property, because ultimately it is their decision to prosecute. I would say if there's any part of someone else's brand or IP in your listing, that it would be very easy for them to make a case for you leveraging something that they built or created for your financial benefit. It's not going to be Etsy that reports your listing. It's always the owner or someone who is representing the owner of the IP. And the other thing is they have to do it one by one. So since it is so manual, they will often hire virtual assistants, VAs, to do this work for them. And that's why we oftentimes see this happening in waves of takedowns happening from different brands. Also, sometimes brands that never cared before will suddenly start caring. So just because a brand has not reported these infringements before, it doesn't mean that they won't do it tomorrow. And if you have been reported, let's talk about the strike rule, because a lot of people think, oh no, I got 2 strikes, or oh no, I made a mistake. Now I'm not going to sell on Etsy anymore because I had 1 violation and I didn't know. A lot of people ask, how many strikes are there? A lot of people say 3 strikes and you're out. They shut your shop down forever. I will say, I have seen people who have had 5 to 7 strikes and they are still on Etsy. I actually don't think that there is a hard and fast fast rule, because I've also seen people with 2 strikes and they're out. So I don't think it's as black and white as some of us make it seem. Now, this is something you're gonna wanna do, is keep an eye on your deactivated listings. So what we're gonna do is go into our inactive listings, and you will see at the bottom, it says this, deactivated by Etsy. And then when you click on that, it takes you to the seller policies. So for me, I had accidentally used Tiffany Blue. I think that was in my first year on Etsy. But sometimes you'll miss an email that says you had a listing violation, or sometimes it would go to spam. So it is always helpful to keep an eye on your inactive listings and see which ones say in red deactivated by Etsy. Now, something to consider is that Etsy's policy is to trust the reporter. That means that they will not necessarily go to that listing with a legal team and evaluate if it was a true violation. I honestly don't know if someone is visually looking at it or not until an appeal might happen. My shop had a listing that was taken down by Etsy with a false accusation made against it. There was something in my shop that said girl mom, but the person who had trademarked this girl mom with one word, she came after my listing and reported it. It was not a true violation, but what I did was I went straight to Etsy chat and I explained the difference. And I said this was a false report. And they said that the only option I had was to let my attorney take it from here. They do not entertain appeals, things like that, on copyright trademark issues. They really have attorneys deal with it. Now, for me, there was no chance I was going to waste time or money on an attorney because it was a listing that wasn't even doing very well for me. But it taught me how Etsy handles these things. And I would say that if you have a bestseller and it is worth some legal fees, right, to push back on, especially if this is a false accusation, I would definitely reach out to the owner of that trademark or copyright, right? The thing is, if it involves attorney fees for you, it's going to involve the same fees for them. And you do have access to their contact info when they report it. So feel free to reach out to them. And I will say it is not fun, and it can be kind of a dicey game with sometimes, some sketchy or dishonest people if they know they are falsely reporting your listing. But I will say that once you handle it, if they know that you are serious, they likely will not mess with you again. If you need any help with issues like this, definitely reach out to myself or my team. We also work with our students with all of these types of situations in our one-on-one private coaching, and that's inside our brand new program that we just launched. It's called the Ultimate Etsy Course. People have been loving it. It basically took all of the feedback from our initial program, and we use that to build this program. So if you'd like more info on that, just feel free to even schedule a free call. We'll put the link below if you'd like to chat with me or my team about your shop. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.
After I joined the program, I gained so much clarity. Dylan is a wealth of knowledge, and she shares all of her secrets with you. That coaching aspect of it, you can't get that through reading or watching videos.